Welcome, everybody, to today's live market update. Delighted to see you all here. Hope you've had a great weekend. Wonderful that you could join me today. Thank you very much for popping in as we start the week looking at what's happening now and what may happen next. And of course, see if we can find a chart or two that looks interesting. As always, please feel free to say hi, obviously ask questions, and I trust that you're in a good place today with your Monday starting well. Good morning to you, Wayne. As always, please feel and obviously got to put up this important message just to remind you that this is for educational purposes only. Please make sure you do your own due diligence on anything you see here. Make sure you follow trading plans. Make sure that you manage risk on every trading action. Now, as we start, we'll just start with the headlines, of course, and look at what's coming across the news wires today. And of course, markets are returning after a long weekend, plenty to digest in the coming days, not least the tariffs, which will be front and center of the market. Already, things have kicked off with an announcement that the 90-day pause may return to pre-90-day levels unless a deal is in place, just to put a little bit of pressure on the Eurozone, on Japan, and many, many others, uh, with the exception of China, who have their 90 days finishing next month. So, interesting couple of days ahead, but already Sunday night in the US, there was an announcement to say, just to suggest that that pre 90-day level may be resumed. Be interesting to see how the markets respond to that, should that actually happen, or whether it's just another Trump taco situation. US futures are lower so far today. Asian markets generally lower following that news. ASX, when last I looked, was down around 0.2%, and European futures are pointing to a cautious open. We'll have a closer look at that in a moment or two. In the FX world, the USD has paused, remains beneath those 3-year lows we referenced last week, still around February levels. Gold is range bound. It's under that 3,350 level, trading in between 3,300 and 3,350. We'll have a check out on that. And copper, towards the back end of the last week, pulled back from those or that potential test of record highs. Oil is holding support with 66, the key level. We'll have a look at those charts too, as well as Bitcoin. It's 111,000, which the market is looking at as a key level. And trade news, of course, will be the order of the day. We do have the RBA tomorrow as well. We are expecting a rate cut of 0.25%. Also, watch the Fed minutes release later in the week and Chinese inflation data. We've got both the CPI and PPI due later in the week. And of course, markets don't really like deflationary environments. And so it'll be interesting to see what the market response to those is, should we get negative numbers. And let's just pop onto the RBA tracker, which you should see on your screen now. And we'll just scroll up here. And you can see there, if we just the screen, there we go. Should be coming up any second now. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, there's a 95% chance that there will be a rate cut. That's sort of interesting. And if we just, I think that screen is probably not showing. Let's just pop to chart, shall we? And we might do a session on that if we can fit one in. So keep an eye out for that. If we look at what's happening in Chartland, then you can see there the US 500, that push over the last couple of weeks up to record highs, essentially. Excuse me, I need to just assist my visual acuity. So that level at around about 6275 is one to keep an eye on. We're trading a little bit below that. As I said, the futures are a little soft today, um, but nevertheless have picked up a smidge from early doors. The US dollar remains a. Let me just again just check the technology here. I'm not sure why we're not transitioning. There we go. Okay, let's start back. Let's start back with the US 500. Apologies for that. Um, there we go. Good day to Ross and Lita. I forgot to say hello, and thank you very much. Hope you can see the screen now. Is that good? Fantastic. Okay, here we are. The US 500 just drifted down in this morning's trading a little bit. Like the internet for some reason, when it flicked onto that, it seemed to send everything a little la. But we'll continue. The US dollar continues its demise, as we've said. Um, we did have a pause last week from this downtrend, with downwards trend channel that it's been in. And you can see there that 96 level looks increasingly important. Put it on a monthly chart just for context, and you can see there last around this level. Um, that was January, that was February. So we are actually testing early 2022 levels right now. I'd be interested to see what impact any tariff news has on the USD, as well, of course, as gold. There's gold sitting in this range in between about 3,300 and 3,350. Just keep an eye on that level. There's the level that I'll get interested into the upside, but it looks as though there could be a downside test. We're currently sitting at that level there, which is at 3,309 on the daily chart. Just have a look at the 30-minute chart. You can see that drop off there in this morning's trading, which is sort of interesting. Um, so gold isn't a good place to be this morning, it looks like. As I suggested, copper was looking very perky, and then that pullback as soon as it got near those record highs that we hit last time in March. So the pullback from around about 520 down to retest that $5 level looks on the card. Be interested to see if we get a bounce off this. The China data might be interesting. Again, the tariffs may impact um, over the next few days. As for oil, well, oil looks pretty well stuck, as I said, around about $66. There we go, $66 almost on the dot that it bounced along for the the end of the previous week and early last week. A little spike up, but then that sort of moved down. If we look at what it's doing in trading today, you can see it's quite bouncy. We have that gap down. And then really quite a whippy market there. Very, very difficult to trade. Could be a potential to close the gap between 66.73 and 67.20. But we'll see how that pans out during the course of the day. Here's Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's pushing, as I said, back up towards 11,000. Should we breach that, then record highs hit in, sorry, towards the back end of May, the 22nd of May was that big candle there, where it closed at its high of 11,250. So this is certainly worth watching. If we look at the intraday action, you can see already we've breached highs from yesterday, from the weekend there. So the weekend was pretty flat until that move up yesterday. Follow through today. This would be a high close for the day so far. If we push above on the hourly chart, on the 30-minute chart, you can see there could be a little pause there, just around about that 10,950 level. So a breach of that might be interesting to take advantage of. You can see there, this would put it back into this range here, up to around about 11,000. So, sorry, 111,000. So possibly a 1,500 difference there to make up should we get a continuation of this buying. Right, let's have a look at some USD crosses. We'll start with the Euro USD, which is pretty well stuck in a range here between about 117.67 to the downside, 117.82 to the upside. A breach of either of these levels could see a move of around about 20 pips either way. Not really an interesting chart there. I think the broader range between about 118 to the upside and around about 117.30 to the downside are more interesting. But it's going to take some movement to get down to the down or up to either of those levels, of course. Looking at the US yen, you can see the US has actually done really well over the last hour or so, particularly against the yen. Perhaps a little yen weakness creeping in. A bounce off the 200 MA on the 30-minute chart, and this looks to be fairly well honoured as we sort of move up. Nice breach of this level here on the candle before last. So if we look at the hourly chart, you can see there it is the last 40 minutes that this has moved to the upside. Looks as though a test of 145 could be on the cards. That's a really nice move of around about 25 to 30 pips, I guess, for right now. If we look across other yen crosses, you can see very bouncy. The Aussie was weak, possibly on increasing uh, increasing belief that um, that the RBA are going to cut. But now we find ourselves in a range again. So again, it's not particularly enlightening in terms of where we might get in here. 94.70 possibly. I might just have a quick try of the net again. Just see if we can get get some action on there. If you just give me a second. Okay, it's really not liking. No. Oh, ooh, we had something there. It doesn't want to hold. There we go. There we go. Okay, it should come up now. We'll keep an eye on this. So you can see there the futures. If we look, the yen is looking quite strong. Weakness in the Aussie, weakness in the Canadian dollar. Very unusual. OBS is obviously having a bad day at the office. Let's just check out and see whether we can see the RBA rate tracker just to fill in that gap. There you see a 97% chance of a rate cut. There we go. And if we just look at what's happening in Asia overall, you can see there pretty well red across the board. The ASX is holding on by its fingernails to positive territory, but right across the board, the impact of that announcement by Besant is not going down well at all in Asia. Let's see if we can bring up the ASX. There we go. Let's just make sure that is showing. It is. Right, okay. You can see that if we look down at the sector performance, the two big boys, materials and financials, neither of which are doing well. So defensive stocks in utilities, healthcare and staples are the outperformers. That's sort of interesting, but you can see there with sort of really choppy day, but we're towards the lows of the session, around about 0.2 to the downside. So that's not looking particularly rosy going forward. Let's go back to our charts after having a look at the ASX. Let's see if we can find some ASX opportunities. And let's just check out a few of the stocks that we were looking at last week. Parenti is still stuck in this range between around about 155 and 163. Thanks for the heads up, guys. Nickel Industries is stuck around about this 200 MA still. Just watch for this. I quite like NIC for a potential move up to around about 80 from this 73. That would obviously be a 10% almost rise, but you need to be patient and wait for a breach of 73, possibly even 74, arguably. Let's just do this and let's see if we can shortcut. Origin having a good day at the office. Utilities are doing really well. Here's the Origin chart. I might have to keep an eye on this week. This is a breach of a key level at 1140. Just going to quickly make sure that there's, I'll see if there's any news behind that. Give me a second. Nope, no news to it, just a popularity in utilities. I wonder if IGL's doing well as well. Some others just to keep an eye on. Blue Scope Steel pushing higher. Still some work to do before it gets up to 25, 25.50 would probably be the level. Maybe it's a small pinch there, but I'm not. That's compelling. James Hardy, we looked at all last week, waiting patiently for a break of 43.12. This is now sitting at 43.60. I like this for a potential gap filler. So possibly around about a 6% move up to 46 in the first instance looks compelling for sure. And Guzmini Gomez continues in its downwards trend channel. Just to answer your question, that doesn't look particularly positive. Uranium stocks have been interesting of late, and they're not giving up the ghost in terms of a potential further move to the upside. Here's Paladin, but you'd want to be waiting for a breach of around about $8 for then a potential move up to 9. I think that's one probably for later in the week to keep an eye on. So I'm gonna essentially put on Webjet as well. Could be a double bottom type of formation going on here, but I don't really like this. Nah, I don't really like that at all. No, I think the two that I'm going to stick with, um, I think if you keep an eye, so two charts of the day for the ASX. I think Origin looks good. Maybe wait until the last hour to see if we're shifting through this. Put it on a monthly chart. You can see this is all-time highs on this stock, or at least as far back as the chart goes. And the other one that I sort of liked, still like, is James Hardy. So those are your two ASX ones. I didn't plant a flag in the FX world because it was really difficult to call. Let me just check the euro yen. I don't like leaving you without a chart to have a play with, but it is the sort of day where it looks like you don't force a trade. Interesting move in the GB pound Kiwi this morning. Let's just check out the GB pound Aussie as well, actually. Yeah, I might plant my flag in the GB pound Aussie. I'd wait for a breach of 209.23. That might be this afternoon. That's possibly a 40 pip move up to around about 209.60 and change. So there you go. So there's your FX chart of the day, your two ASX ones. Let's just briefly look at the US. Watch Tesla. Really nice pipe formation potentially there. I'd like this over 325. CCL were one that just keeps on giving. They saw a chart of the day last week and continues to be so. I see further upside in that. And of course, Nvidia pushed through the next level again. We had this little pause at around about 157.70. We finished above that. Is this extended hours trading today? I wonder. Yeah, no, that's from last week. So watch this on open. Um, Might be worth just keeping an eye. There was a couple of others that I was looking at. No, it wasn't GE. It's a GM. GM's sort of interesting, but some work to do here. But keep an eye on around about this 55 level. I think this may precipitate a move up to 60. And I am still liking Microsoft. Let's just put up that chart too. Uh, and Microsoft I'm liking simply because it still looks great. We're stuck under 498, $500 is the level of interest. Looking good. Just bear in mind that US earnings season isn't that far away. Think JPM report. Let me just have a quick look. 15th, so next week. So that could be interesting in terms of one to watch over the course of the next week. Just watch those banking stocks in the US. Microsoft and Nvidia will be later on. Remember, US earnings season usually lasts for around about 3 or 4 weeks. So we'll keep you informed as that goes. Um, so there you go. We got there. Not sure what happened to the not sure what happened to the web info, which it's like it's gone again in the background. So we'll not do that again. Uh, Let's do some more research on that. Me thinks. But in the meantime, take care of yourself. Have a great rest of your Monday. A quick flick onto just a couple of charts that we've been watching. Yeah, seems to be a little stuck on the GB pound. Aussie, the yen. There's a really nice bounce on the Aussie. Just for later, just keep an eye on 94.70 on the Aussie Japanese yen too. Anyway, that should do for today. You guys take care of yourself. Hey, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see some of you possibly later. And I'll love and leave you now. We'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.